Hi everyone, Dr. Kelly Ray here, your inner critic, tamer, and mindset coach with strengthandsensitivity.com. Coming to you this beautiful Monday morning. And I want to talk about these energies that we're feeling. So we have Mercury retrograde until the 15th of this month, so we got another week, so hang in there. And also last week or the end of last week, the energy just felt super feisty, furious to me. It just was like, "Argh." And that's just how I was feeling it. But a lot of people could interpret it as just having this fire in their belly, ready to just go take action and do something. And that can be a little challenging with Mercury retrograde, which is more of kind of a slower, reflective time. Um, and a place for us to really just kind of look at where things are in our lives, see what needs to change, which comes to the theme for this month of April. And we've been building up to this. We're at the point where it's almost feeling like we're getting ready to birth something really huge. And what that hugeness is another shift or another change in our lives. Change can be whatever it is that we make it to be. It doesn't have to be big and scary. Even those big significant changes that we have, maybe it's divorce, maybe it's a loss of someone, maybe it's losing a job, a home. Yes, in the moment, those are absolutely life altering changes, and those require a process. The beautiful thing about change is there is mm, there's no straight and narrow process to get from point A to point Z. There's no straight line. Even if there was a straight line, there's times when we're going to go backwards on that line because we have to work through the emotional components of change. That's where I see the biggest challenge for people when there's a change afoot. And I'm just the same. There's certain changes that have come in my life, and our inner critic here in our head would just love for everything to remain exactly the way it is because it has absolute control, absolute understanding, and absolute know how everything works, has all the patterns down, has all the behaviors down, has all of the emotions in check. That's what the inner critic likes. It likes things to be steady eddy and never change. Life is not about non-change. Non-change would be resistance to change because change is going to continue to happen. We eventually get out of diapers. We eventually get up off the floor, onto our knees, crawl onto our feet, and walk. It's just an evolutionary process that happens. And we get tangled up when we, in our heads here, create the resistance to that. Change is going to happen. It just is. You're going to be a baby, and then you're going to become a teenager, then you're going to become an adult, and then you're going to become, somebody who's more mature. I don't want to say elderly, but you are going to go through that evolutionary process. You can resist it all you want, and usually with that comes a lot of dis-ease within your body. So finding that balance as you go through change, whatever your change may be this month, whatever you may be building up to, finding times to remind yourself to check in to see how you're physically doing, see how you're mentally doing. Are you grounded? Are you taking enough deep breaths, or are you only shallow breathing through your chest, which is going to give you that sense of flight or fight, which is going to give you also that really kind of spinning out of control feeling. And then before you know it, all chaos is happening and breaking loose. Reminding yourself when you're starting to feel that Step back. Take a nice deep breath. Relax. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. And relax. 2 or 3 of those, and your shoulders start to relax, your chest starts to expand. You feel as if you're in your body, and it gives you an opportunity to now kind of assess what's going on. Change also requires us to have a certain vulnerability about ourselves, meaning we need to be willing to be open. We need to be willing to be flexible. Wherever we find that we're inflexible or finding resistance, then we start to get a little and start tail spinning again. And being able to check in with yourself when you start to go into that spin cycle, sometimes it's not always easy, because before you know it, you're already spinning. That's a time to check in with somebody. If you have a coach that you work with, check in with your coach. It may not be your scheduled appointment time, but your coach or your counselor or your minister or whoever it is that you might find can be a very good grounding source tool for you, check in with them so that they can help with slowing that spin down. Or at least having you check in with, is it really necessary for you to be spinning? Or is it necessary for you to take action towards something? It's really hard to take action towards something if all we're doing is spinning around a cycle. We don't have the clarity that we need. We don't have the groundedness to make the decisions that we need. The other thing with this change, and I know that many of you have either read or heard me talk about my 8-week program that I do for how to attract your ideal partner. Spring, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, is the perfect time, right? That's when all of the little critters are starting to hatch their little babies, and it just seems like that's when love is in the air. So there is some resistance that goes along with that for people who are not in a relationship, and specifically for people who haven't been in a relationship for a while. The thing that happens is maybe there's a part of you that wants to have some companionship, would like to have somebody to hang out with and do things with. And just the thought of that alone can start putting this inner critic into action. Oh no, the status quo is about to change. He or she's starting to think about possibly spending time with somebody that's different than what we've been doing. And so I'm going to now convince them of all the reasons why this is not a good time to start getting back out there. And how do they do that? Well, one, they kind of remind us of pretty significant parts of our relationships. That's how we tend to compartmentalize aspects of our lives. We remember meeting somebody, we remember the middle of the journey of our relationship, and we remember the end, all the big significant things. But what then our inner critic does is then it handpicks the segments in between those big chunks of block, beginning, middle, and end. And they go look for all the reasons to tell you why this is not a good time for you. Remember this happened, remember this happened. So then you're thinking, oh my God, now for me to get into another relationship, I'm seeing clients that are like already jumping into the middle of that or the end result before they've even had a chance to meet somebody. And that starts that spin cycle again. And it becomes too big, too monumental. There's a buildup, there's a process in order to get there, to feel confident, to feel safe, to feel ready, to be prepared. And that might really sound funny, but isn't it true when you go for like a job interview, you want to go prepared, you want to feel confident about your abilities? The same is true with a relationship. You want to feel confident in yourself. And you don't want it to be staged either. It's not like we're going to be teaching you in this program how to go do speed dating or online dating. That's not what this is geared towards. This is geared towards getting grounded, getting centered, getting rid of baggage that no longer serves you, getting rid of that baggage that's keeping you from attracting the partner that's going to best complement you, complement your lifestyle, and complement what it is that the two of you want to do moving forward. You don't have to get to the end game. Enjoy the journey. So, whatever change you may be going through and feeling is in the process of happening, whether it be relationships, whether it be job, whether it be moving, friendships, health and fitness, maybe it has to do with your weight and your diet. It's not a time to get real spinny and out of control about it. And if you're starting to feel yourself get a little wound up about it, take a step back. Take a deep breath. I got this. It just requires a step forward. You're not crossing the finish line. You're not starting the race and going to the finish line. You're going through the process. Remind yourself that, especially when your inner critic wants to start getting a little, this is too much. Oh, you can't do this. Whatever that inner critic will use to control you from changing. Please know, my friends, change happens. And your actions towards that change is what makes a difference. You can either embrace it and go forward, and it may be messy and you may not do it perfectly. Yay for you. Just keep moving forward. Or you could resist it. And to me, it's been my experience, and sometimes I still do this too, is I resist it, and it's usually the most painful, ugly, crying, awful stuff I do to myself, nobody else, but to me, to resist my own change. And then when I finally let go of that crap, it's like, oh, why did I do that? So, my friends, if there's anything that I can help you, if you are ready to go forward into this 8-week program, I would love to be able to work with you to do that. If there's anything that you need outside of my 8-week Attract Your Ideal Partner program that you need, I'm happy to do that too. I still do one-on-one coaching, and I'm happy to schedule time for us to talk. I hope that you have a great week. Please know that I send you so much love. Bye.